Everybody, welcome to the Friday Senior Solutions Agency call. My name is Joe Johnson. I'm going to be your host today. We got a great call lined up for you today. As the title mentioned, we're going to be talking about IULs. I'm going to kind of give you a brief, little bit of an introduction to IULs. What is an IUL, and really kind of walk you through on how to do some basic illustrations. So I appreciate everybody hopping on. By the way, this is a live webinar. We're doing this live. We are going to get it recorded. We'll get it out onto our YouTube channel, probably get it onto the website as well. So if you are interested in receiving more video content like this, because maybe you're watching this on YouTube, you're not part of Senior Solutions, but you like our training, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. If you are interested in contracting opportunities, in the description below, what I'll do is I'll leave my phone number, a direct phone number for me, and also a link where you can get more information about Senior Solutions. Now, why are we going to be talking about IULs? Well, I think that's kind of to set the call up. The reason why we're going to be talking about IULs, and some of you may find that kind of odd because Senior Solutions, you think, well, we only deal with senior products. That's not true. Seniors are our focus. We do, as you guys know, a ton of final expense business. That's our bread and butter. But we also do our fair share of mortgage term products, regular straight term, and we also do a lot of IUL and annuity business. And one of the guys that's really kind of leading the way with annuities and IULs is our agency manager out in New Jersey, Andreas. So it's really because of Andreas. It's one of the reasons why we're doing this call today. And that brings me to this, is that a lot of the content that we do every single week is because of either suggestions that I get from agents or agency managers, or it's just through, maybe conversations I'm having throughout the week with different agents, and, they're asking questions about certain products or, how to handle certain situations. And as I'm coaching agents throughout the week and I'm taking notes, and I'm always thinking to myself, that would be a great topic for a call. Let's, if there's one agent out there that's maybe asking me a question, there could be 20 or 30 agents out there that are, dealing with the same thing, but maybe just never called in or never asked the question. So, Andreas, thank you for bringing this to my attention, that we need to have a little bit of focus and do some training on IULs. Let me just, and you're doing a great job, by the way. I know you're writing a lot of business. Let me just very quickly, let me turn it over to you so you can just real quickly introduce yourself.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I can hear you.
Well, I'm pretty new to this. I started doing this since March with IULs and annuities. And I was always thinking how to get a second money income flow coming up on the same presentation, the same meeting I have with the client. So I was thinking about how can I increase my premium, what else I can do to bring another income, So then we start working together, and you guide me from step 1 to step 10, how to do everything. And since then, it took off. Like 3 weeks, I wrote like 15,000, and only on the IUL part. So now, referrals after referrals.
That's my next question. Where are you getting your business? Where are you finding
referrals? Only straight referrals.
Yeah.
As long as I do the right thing for the client, they like it, they see what the benefits out of it, it's only referrals. And F&G has a great product, the Path Setter, which I didn't even know how to spell that word until I met you.
All right.
And now, I've become very good at this one. I thank you for that.
No, we're still learning, man. I know you're still learning. I mean, like I said, before March of this year, And really, you didn't really start writing IULs until like, I would say like 90 days ago, right?
Right.
Right. Okay. Had you written very many IULs before we
I didn't
started?
even know what these three letters was. I'll be honest to you. I
Okay.
didn't even know what the I stands for, the U or the L.
Okay. All right. That just shows that, you can go from ground zero and you know what? I mean, you can, work your way through it and be on your way to becoming an expert. And here's the thing, I'm just going to be honest with you. I mean, I know you're learning a lot. The best way to learn IULs is to go out and start doing them and start writing them. And in no way, shape, or form am I presenting myself as an IUL expert, okay? But I'm learning too. You know what I mean? I'm constantly, trying to learn. I feel as though I've got a pretty good grasp on how, IULs work, how to present them. But I think today there's some, and maybe you already know this, Andreas, um, but there may be some tools on the F&G website that may help illustrate and maybe do, instead of just a very simple illustration, maybe do a little bit more, maybe take it one step forward, maybe do a little bit more
It's
of
good to
a
know these tools.
maybe a slightly, I'll just show you a really good selling point on your IULs. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you an illustration here in a minute where you can present to a client where they can fund their IUL and then they can receive an income anywhere between 3 to maybe even 4 times the amount that they put into it, all 100% tax free. And it's really easy to do. So what we'll do here in a minute, just a couple of things I want to go over real quick, and then I'm going to share my screen because I think right now all you see is just the webcam, right? Just with me.
Right.
Okay, all right. So what I'll do is I'll pause that for a minute, and then when I go into the F&G website, and I really want you guys to see my screen. The other thing that I want to talk about, and one thing I want to ask you, Andreas, is that when you're getting the referrals about the IULs, like how do you strike up the conversation, and what are some of the maybe the key things that you ask clients to maybe kind of pique their interest about an IUL? I'd like to just hear maybe some of the verbiage that you use, and then I'm gonna give you kind of like my version as well, and give you some you and everybody else some key points on some of the major selling features of an index universal life.
When it's a referral zone, most of the times they know what it's all about because they heard
Okay.
already good words from the previous client. But the number one question I'm asking from the client on the table, it is, what's your expectations from me? Like what you expect me to do for you? And everybody, of course, says, make me money,
Okay.
you know? So then my next question is where the money comes from, how much we're looking for, and then I sit down and make the goals they want to do. They want to like have like max accumulation, or they want to go with a premium. I'm asking the questions through the path setter, like what they try to achieve about that. And
Right.
most people, they have their money in the bank. It's not gonna be 1035 exchange from a cash value to a cash value, or definitely 8 out of 10 times it's gonna be a rollover. So most of
That's
my
more on an annuity that you're talking about.
yes, annuities and IULs. Well,
Okay.
from IUL, most of the times comes the money from the bank.
Right. Right. And I think it's important to understand too that IULs and annuities go hand in hand. So
Yeah,
if you're getting someone started with an IUL, there's a good chance that if they're willing to put in, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe even $1,000 a month into an IUL, guess what? There's a good chance they got more money somewhere else that maybe they didn't tell you about. Could be an old 401k, could be somewhere that there's a good potential there. Not only there's an IUL opportunity, there could be an annuity opportunity. And I know you've been writing a lot of annuities as well.
Well, IUL is open up the door for me so I can have the conversation about the retirement. So once I do, because with the death benefit they're getting with an IUL, it's a lot better, right? So then I'm opening the conversation about the retirement, and most of the people, believe me, they have money for annuities. Like I wrote $95,000 on annuity and $400 premium on IUL.
From one client?
Yeah.
Okay. Sweet.
The client, he had money and they didn't know what to do. Nobody approached them because most of the agents, they try to sell life insurance and then they leave right away.
Right. The big thing on IUL is there's typically two reasons why we're selling an IUL. Typically two reasons that clients are looking for. One is that they're looking for a death benefit. They want to leave a legacy to their family. The second reason why someone may be interested in an IUL is because of cash accumulation, or it could be even a combination of both. That's what we're going to show you today, is kind of a combination of both. The one thing, if you're starting with someone new, maybe it's not a referral, maybe it is a referral. One of the things that you can do, the agents can do out there, is to kind of strike up the conversation, is just ask them about the retirement. Hey, out of curiosity, are you happy with the retirement? Are you happy with your, the percentages that you're receiving? That sort of thing. The other way is kind of ask them, out of curiosity, has anyone ever talked to you about a tax-free retirement? Okay. Now, a lot of people say for retirement, a lot of people don't know about tax-free retirement. Typically, the kind of response that you'll get is like, well, I'm not really sure what you're talking about when you say tax-free retirement. What do you mean? So, well, and this is how you can kind of explain it. Well, there is a program, or if you want to call it insurance policy, you can, but there's an insurance policy that's available today that it's not like regular insurance. It's actually, it's a very low cost, where we use the least amount of life insurance possible. So it's minimal life insurance, but it's a permanent life insurance policy, but it has a twist. And the twist is that this product, which is called an Index Universal Life, it allows you to use a provision provided in the IRS tax code that allows you to have growth in your policy to get virtually, you can get stock market like returns, but with downside protection. And what it does is it locks in all your gains, so you can never go backwards. So if the stock market goes up, very simple, you will participate in the market. If the market loses money for that year, you don't lose money, you stay even. And any interest that you accumulate, that interest is then locked in, so you can never go backwards. And probably the best part about the program is that as your cash accumulation grows, when you're ready for retirement, you're ready to take distributions, that provision I mentioned in the IRS code, well, that provision in the IRS code allows you to take distributions from your life insurance policy 100% tax-free. So not only does your money grow tax deferred, your money grows tax-free, you're also then allowed to make distributions 100% tax-free. It only takes me a couple of minutes to show you how a program like this can help you. Do you have a few minutes? Can I show you how it works? That's basically, in a nutshell, how you can, talk to a client about what an IUL is. We also have on our YouTube channel, we also have like it's a consumer. And if you guys need it, I can text it to you. But it's about a 12-minute video, and it's a consumer-friendly video on the benefits of an IUL. One of the other benefits of the IUL that I didn't mention that you should talk about are taxes. And a simple question when you're engaging with your clients is ask them this question: Mr. and Mrs. Client, based on what we see going on and the way inflation is and the national debt, out of curiosity, in the next 20 years, 15, 20, 30 years, whatever it is you think you're going to retire, do you foresee taxes going up, staying the same, or going down? Almost everybody say go up. Well, taxes are probably going to go up. Of course they're going to go up. I mean, our spending is out of control. That's the reason why if taxes are going to be going up and everyone's in 100% agreement with taxes are going to be going up, then doesn't it make sense to have a program where you can grow your money tax deferred, and then when you build up that nest egg of 100, 200, maybe even $500,000, when you're ready to take distributions, be able to receive those distributions 100% tax free versus having to pay taxes on it. Andreas, does that make sense what I'm talking about?
I copy and paste whatever you said because I got trained from you.
Exactly. So so at the end of the day, what we say is about the best part is about being able to take these distributions 100% tax free. That's why we call this the tax free retirement plan. Let me show you how it works. It's very simple. All right. With that, what I'm going to do is we're going to flip over to the F&G website. I'm going to log in as an agent, and I'm going to show you how to do a few things with illustrations. All right, guys, now I'm logged in here. I'm on the F&G website, logged in as a producer. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to click on View My Cases. And let's see, let me hide this. All right, I just have one that just kind of a generic one that I kind of play with. It's going to be this one right here where it says Mary, Mary. And what I'm going to do is just I'm going to open that up. And let's see, I'm going to find a product. The one that I really like is the Path Setter. That's one that's really designed for maximum accumulation. And even if your client's just looking for a death benefit as well, it's still a really good product. So up at the top here, you can see who I'm working with. You basically just need to type in your client's information. My client's name is Mary. She's a female, born in 1977. She's 45 years old. That's a pretty good age for an IUL. I mean, really anybody can be any age to get into an IUL. Just understand if someone's looking for retirement, like cash accumulation for retirement, you really need, I would say as a minimum, you need to be able to fund this for at least 15 years. Ideally, 20 years. If it's someone younger, like in their 30s, even better, because if they can fund this for like 25, 30, even 35 years, I mean, you can get some significant cash accumulation. But a lot of people that you're going to find that are going to be your ideal candidates for an IUL, typically going to be in that 45 to 55 year range. Business owners are a great example of who you should be talking to. Really anybody, but particularly business owners. A lot of times business owners, maybe they haven't set up any type of IRA or retirement plan. And one of the benefits, if you're working with a business owner, just as a tip, and let's say that business owner, not just a sole proprietor, but let's say a business owner that has a small business with 10, 15, 20 employees. Well, the rules is that if that business owner sets up like a 401k through the business, he has to offer that 401k to all the employees. Okay, he may not want to do that, but as an individual IUL plan, he doesn't have to do it. In fact, what a lot of business owners will do is they'll name the business as the owner of the policy, have the business pay for it, and now it's a tax deduction as well. So business owners are great, great people to talk to, especially small business owners. Okay. So in this case, like I said, we've got a 45-year-old female. The solve for, this is where sometimes it can be kind of confusing for new agents. So the biggest thing is what I'm going to tell you is that IULs really are not that complicated. Okay. They're really fairly simple. And the best thing we can do is kind of keep them simple and kind of keep them simple when we're explaining to the clients. We don't want to make it sound complicated. A lot of times for just a very simple illustration, when it says solve for, I'll just solve for none. I'm not solving for anything other than just target premium. If I click on here, you're going to see a bunch of different things. Max accumulation with income, target face and income, income stream, max accumulation, premium face, all kinds of stuff. Some of these I don't even know. I haven't played with them all. So one thing that you're going to want to do is get logged into your F&G website, start playing around with the different methods, run some illustrations, take a look at them. And my personal suggestion would be, if you don't have an IUL, write an IUL on yourself. Then you'll really kind of understand how they work. But in this initial example, I'm just going to click none because I just want to run a very basic illustration to start out with. In this case, I'm just going to put in a face amount of 250,000, and I'm going to leave it as option A. One thing with annuities, I'm sorry, with IULs, you're going to see there's option A, option B, or there's a varies. A varies is an option A to option B to option A, okay? Which can be a choice as well. Option A means is that you're doing a level death benefit, and that's going to give you the lowest cost of insurance throughout the life of the policy. Option B is where the death benefit increases. The death benefit becomes a combination of the face amount plus the cash accumulation, which is not bad in the early years, but as your client gets really old, they get to be 75, 80 years old, it's going to make the cost of insurance really expensive. That's where you may do kind of the varies between, starts out as B, which is the increasing death benefit, maybe let that go for 10 years and then switch it over to level. And these examples, what we're going to be doing is, because we're mainly talking about cash accumulation, I want to keep the cost of insurance as cheap as possible. We're just going to stick with option A, okay? Not going to worry about the change face amount or reduce death benefit to minimum. Don't worry about any of that. Just go down, just worry about initially the face amount. Well, three things you got to look at. The solve for, so we're solving for none. That means we're just going to do a basic. The face amount, put in a basic face amount of like 250. By the way, just this product goes as low as 50,000. Okay, and it goes up to whatever you want it to go up to. It could be 5 million if you want to. Monthly modal. Okay, we're going to keep it as monthly. I said monthly, but payment modal, we're going to do monthly. In premium type, when you open up premium, it's going to give you some different premium options. One is target, one is specified varied, and one is minimum. Let me just describe to you what these mean. Target, the target premium means is that they're gonna calculate a premium that when the client reaches, if the client were to reach the age of 121, that there will be a minimum amount of cash value in order to keep that policy going. So if you're running an illustration at target, you pretty much don't have to worry that this policy is ever going to lapse. Should last well past 100, okay? Specified level, that's if you want to specify a specific premium for a face amount, and that can come in handy as well. And varied is just if you want to show a fluctuating payment. Maybe they get the program started with 200 a month, but in 5 years they want to increase it to 300 and then increase it, or maybe back it down. You can vary. There's a lot of things you can do. The one that you never want to do is that you never want to calculate an IUL using minimum premium. Okay, now minimum premium will give you the cheapest insurance, but then the product, and I'm not sure with this one, it's probably only guaranteed to last maybe 10 or 15 years, and then it's probably going to lapse. Okay, we don't want that for our consumers. So it's always best to start out with Target. And honestly, these are the only fields that you need to worry about. When it comes to the allocations and with the S&P 500, it's automatically going to default to the S&P. It says S&P annual PTP stands for point to point 100% participation. Okay, right now at a whatever it is, a 25, 30-year look back, this product has been averaging 7.19%. Just leave it at 100% right there. That's typically what we do with IULs, is so you don't even have to worry about that. Okay. From here, you really got all the information you need to run a basic illustration. Two things you can do when you're sitting with your client, and I'm working with a client, I'm actually showing, they're seeing everything I'm typing in. Like it's 100% transparency. They're sitting right next to me. I want them to see what I'm doing. You can run a full illustration. The other thing that you can do is you can just click right here on this purple box that says calculate, or it says calc results. And it'll just give you a quick snapshot. Okay, so you can just kind of take a real quick look. So it shows right here my client who's 45 years old, $250,000 death benefit, annual premium of $3,750, or let's see, 3,750 divided by 12, or that's $312 per month to fund the program. This column right here, cash value, that shows you what the cash value is. So you could show the client, hey, if you just put in the minimum, when I say the word, when I use minimum premium, I'm always referring to target, because in my mind, minimum premium is the target premium, okay? And that's how I'm describing it to the client. You know, Mr. and Mrs. Client, in order to fund this, so you have an immediate death benefit of $250,000, you would need to start setting aside $312 per month. Let me show you what that looks like. And you can basically just show them, hey, you know, at age 65, you already got over $102,000 of cash accumulation that has built up into the policy. And you can show them, if they keep funding this, what it will do. At age 75, it has almost $250,000 of death benefit. Okay, so this is just a very, very simple snapshot. You can also, once you run this, because I always like to kind of look at this real quick, then what I will do is you can do a full illustration, okay? One thing about doing an illustration, one thing that I typically do is that, especially if I'm, I typically don't like doing illustrations where I'm showing the client that they have to make premium payments for the rest of their life, okay? So if I got a client who's 45 years old, I'm probably only going to illustrate it where she's putting in 20 years of premiums so she can stop making premium payments at age 65. And it's easy to do. All you have to do is come down to where it says pay premiums to, and I'm going to put in years. I'm actually going to go 21, so it goes through age 65. See how I changed that? Premium payments, or pay premiums to year 21. So she's only paying it into year 21 of the policy. That means it's going to give her a full 20 years. And then I'll just do a quick calculation and say, hey, you know, Mary, this is what I recommend for my clients, is that we set this up so you're not paying on this for the rest of your life. Just put in the $3,750 per year, only pay into it until age 66. And then you still have, at age 66, you have 112,000 of cash value. Now you don't have to make any more premium payments. Okay, the cash value, there's enough cash value where it's going to take care of itself. And you can see if she never touches this, Let me see it. Any point does it start going backwards? No, it doesn't. Even if she lived to 100, there's $1.1 million of cash value in the policy. At age 95, there's $811,000 of cash value. So even though she stopped making premium payments after the 21st year anniversary year of the policy, there's no more premiums being. We're illustrating it now. She could make more premium payments if she wanted to, but not necessary to keep it funding. The other benefit that I kind of forgot to mention, we were talking about the benefits of an IUL. Yes, it's the whole cash accumulation thing is great. The tax-free deferment is great. The being able to take tax-free withdrawals is amazing that you can do that. But one of the biggest things that we forgot to mention is the death benefit. If you start funding a 401k or a SEP or a Roth IRA, or even you do an annuity, well, if you die, your family's only going to get the money that's in there, and they're going to get whacked with taxes. If you have a 401k, as an example, if you start participating in a 401k and you die, the only death benefit in that 401k is whatever was accumulated. So if you got a client that's only been putting into it for a couple of years, and maybe they got 15, 20,000, all right, big deal. If they die, two things are going to happen. One is that the family is only going to get 20,000. There's no extra death benefit. Plus, because it's in a qualified plan, they're going to get whacked hard for taxes. One of the huge benefits of doing an IUL is that it is an insurance policy. So not only are you getting the tax deferred accumulation, the tax-free withdrawals, you're also getting a tax-free death benefit. So, man, even if your client only made, one premium payment technically, and God forbid they pass away prematurely, have a heart attack, get stroke, cancer, die, or get hit by a train or a bus, or die in a car accident, get struck by lightning, they're getting $250,000 or $100,000 or $500,000 or $1 million, whatever the client selects as the death benefit. So that's something that's pretty huge that we didn't talk about. Okay, now let's get into the good stuff. That's just a basic, very, very basic illustration where we're showing the client face amount, minimum target premium, and basic cash accumulation. The other thing that this will allow you to do if you do solve for is we could simply, if we want to see how much money we can actually accumulate, I'll show you this. You can do max, you can click on max accumulation. And then here we're going to solve for premium. Okay, we already are doing that. Okay, max accumulation, we're going to keep the death benefit at 250. So now, without even running a full illustration, we can just do a quick calculation. And I'll just show you here. Now, the policy is going to allow us to put in basically about an extra $1,000 a year. We can put in $4,700 a year into the policy, keep the death benefit the same. So now we're overfunding it a little bit more. Remember, target premium, you're still putting in, that target premium is designed to keep that policy alive to age 120. So your target premium is still building up quite a bit of cash value. But you see here, now we've got more cash value. Now by putting in just an extra $1,000 a year, we've built up quite a bit of extra cash value. And even at age 70, here, look at here, age 75, if they just made premium payments to age 66, held it until age 75, then started making distributions, there's like $300,000, almost $300,000 of money that's available. Okay, so again, these are still very basics. What I want to show you is what I like to show clients. And the big, you really want your clients like drooling and like, thinking, oh my God, this is like great, and really show them how they can benefit. And like I said, get three times, maybe even 4 times their money back, is start showing with withdrawal through policy loans. That's the whole magic of an IUL. And the software is great. Let me just tell you something. When I first started selling, I think I sold my first IUL back in about 2010. So about 12 years ago it was. Illustration was nowhere. Illustrations today are so much better. They make it so easy to do it. Now you can do it all yourself. You just have to call in and get somebody to help you with it. But what I'm going to do here is very simply is the solve for, instead of max accumulation, I'm going to do max accumulation in income. Okay? Don't let this intimidate you. It's very easy. Just going to click on it. I'm still going to solve for, still solving for premium, because I'm keeping my face amount just at $250,000. Okay. This part is just to whet your client's appetite a little bit. Okay. We're still only going to pay into it for 21 years. Okay. Cash value, this $100, don't let that worry you. You can change this anywhere from $1 to like $1,000. In fact, I'm going to change it to $1. All the cash value, all that's really telling you is that how much cash value do you want to be left in the policy if your client were to ever attain age 120. Okay, so don't worry about the cash value part. I think it normally defaults at 1,000. You can change it to $1 if you want, as long as there's at least $1 in there. And no one's making it to 121 anyway. But I just like change it. I just want to make sure there's at least $1 there. So I'm going to change that to $1. Income calculation. You can either do loans or withdrawals. You never want to do withdrawals. You always want to do loans. Okay, I'll explain why here in a minute. You always want to do loans. You want to do it monthly. You want it starting, let's see, 45 plus 21. Okay, we're going to go ahead and start this after she's funded it for 21 years. We're going to go ahead and I think this is saved from before. You can start this at any age. So if you wanted to defer it, as an example, I could say, well, maybe she wants it to sit for a couple of years. She doesn't want to start withdrawing the income until she's 70, and she wants the income to last until she's at least 95. So this is the starting age, and this is how many years we want it to go for. Okay, and the loan type is going to be variable. Okay, click OK. Now, if you want, what I like to do is I'm going to show you a full illustration, but I'm just going to click on the quick calc. I just want to make sure all the numbers line up. Okay, this is what we're putting in. Okay, let's see here. We're going to stop making premiums at age 66, and then we're going to take a little bit of a gap, let it accumulate, and then we're going to start making withdrawals. So you can see here, if she lets this sit for a little bit, at age 71, when she has her birthday at age 71, she can start withdrawing $19,000 a year tax-free. Okay. Now, the reason why you do this as a loan and not a withdrawal, because if you do it as a withdrawal, that means she's actually, that 19,000, that withdrawal would actually be coming from the cash value. We don't want to touch the cash value. Why? Because we want the cash value to still accumulate interest. this is crazy, but what the insurance companies actually allow you to do is borrow money from the insurance company. So this 19,000 that you see that's distributed, it's not coming from the cash value. It's actually a loan from the insurance company, and they're going to loan you that money at 5%, but your money is still making 7%. It creates something what we call an arbitrage. An arbitrage is where you're borrowing money, but you're earning more than what you've borrowed. So technically, you're still making 2%, if that makes sense. So if you notice here, and I can show you the difference. Just check this out. She's withdrawing 19,000. You can see as she starts withdrawing, the cash value is 205,000. Okay. Now, if she was withdrawing her own money, that would have dropped by like $19,000. But you can see here, the cash value only went down a little bit to 201. It only dropped $4,000, even though we withdrew $19,000, because you're still accumulating interest. So it's still building interest on the full amount, even though you're making withdrawals. And you can see here, even all the way to age 95, there's still enough cash value to keep that policy going. You see the income starts here, and look at the cash value starts building up again. Okay, so she could start taking income again. Chances are, not that many people live to 95, and not that many people need income past age 95. But this is just, notice what the difference is. At age 95, we've taken out all those premium payments. There's still $6,753. Look what would happen if we were to change this. Just watch this. I'll tell you why you want to do it as a loan. We'll go to details. We'll change it back. Loan type, we'll make it withdrawals instead of withdrawals versus loans. Keep everything the same. Let's see, we're going to learn something new here. Let's see if it makes a difference. Come on now. Yeah. Yeah, look at this. Instead of drawing out the over 19,000, it drops it down to 18,666. Look how much the cash value is dropping more than what it was before. Okay, so let me show you a full illustration now. Let me change this back to policy loans. The other thing too, I just want you to keep in mind, we're doing an illustration, okay? An illustration is not a contract, okay? So whatever you're illustrating your client when you're selling the policy doesn't mean that they're locked into that for the rest of their life. They can make any changes that they want, okay? It's a flexible premium. So if they start out overfunding it, but then they don't want to overfund it, they can reduce the premium, okay? They don't have to take withdrawals. Just because you're illustrating as a loan, 30 years from now, if they decide, oh, I don't want to do the loans, I'd just rather take withdrawals, they can do withdrawals, okay? So just keeping that in mind. It's a hypothetical illustration. It's not a contract, okay? So they're not locked into anything. It's just it's a selling tool for you to be able to illustrate how the policy could perform, so your client can make an educated decision. All right, now let me show you what the actual illustration looks like. By the way, the other thing that we didn't talk about, the F&G product, is not only do you get all these great benefits, but there's living benefits too. You get benefits for terminal illness, terminal, and two of them are 100%. I know it's, let's see, let me increase this. Hang on, I'll tell you what they are. let me get into it. No, it's not there. Sorry, give me 1 second. Here you go. Here are the rider. These are free riders. Okay, accelerated death benefit for critical illness. Critical illness, they can accelerate up to 100% of the death benefit, up to $1 million. Accelerated death benefit for terminal illness. So if they do come down with an illness that's declared terminal, they can access 100% of the death benefit, up to 1 million. There's also a chronic illness that they can accelerate up to 25% of the death benefit. So not only do they have the death benefit, they also have access to the money in case they get really sick, okay, or even terminal. All right, now let me get to what they call the tubular report. On the tubular report, the area that we want to look at is the column to the far right. You have your guaranteed assumptions, you have your non-guaranteed, and there's actually two. You have your fixed interest, and then you have what the current rate is. We are going to be dealing with the non-guaranteed, meaning it's not guaranteed, but it's based on what this product has performed for the last 20 years, which is 7.19%. So on the far left, you're going to see the plan premiums. In other words, this is what you're going to be showing your clients, Mr. and Mrs. Client. These are your premiums that you're putting into the policy. As you can see, the way we have it illustrated, you're going to put premium payments in until age 66. That means is that you're going to put in a total of your own money, $100,490 of your own money. The way we have this set up at your 71st birthday, you're going to start making tax-free withdrawals from your policy, 100% tax-free of $19,445. Okay. Go to the second page. You can see here, they're going to continue to make those withdrawals until age 95, where this is the selling point. Check this out. They only put in 100,000, but they withdrew tax-free in tax-free premiums or tax-free payments of almost 500,000, $486,123. At this point, your client should be, where do I sign? You know what I'm saying? They're getting almost 5 times their money back, 4.8 times their money back. Plus, during the whole time, they had death benefit. God forbid, and if they were to die prematurely, their family's going to get, $250,000 of death benefit. Andreas, does this illustration, does this help? Does this make sense? I don't know if he's still there. He might have muted out.
I'm here.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I was gonna say, because if you click mute,
Yeah,
then
I'm here.
let me ask you a question. Does this make sense?
Yeah, it's more. Yeah, makes more sense than before.
Can you sell this?
Of course.
You put in 100,000. I'm going to give you almost 500,000 tax free. That's better than a 401k, because a 401k, even if your money grows 4 or 5 times the amount, guess what? When you start making distributions on your 401k, what does Uncle Sam want? Uncle Sam wants all of his money. God forbid anybody ever dies with money in their 401k.
Yep.
Because your family is going to get whacked hard for taxes. Hard. So this is a great, just in F&G really makes it simple on how to do this is a very simple illustration. And basically when you're talking about you're taking out policy loans, when your client does finally pass away, the life insurance takes care of the loan. so they don't have to worry about paying it off. So this is a great way to use the loophole, if you will, in the IRS tax code that allows clients to get tax-free distributions. Now, if they were to take this as withdrawals, it would only be tax-free up until the amount up to 100,000. Because you're just like in the stock market, or if you invest 100,000 and you make 300,000, that means let's say, and it grows to 300,000, you're going to have capital gains tax of 200,000, right? Because your money grew 200,000. The same way with this, if you were to do this as withdrawals, if you're withdrawing your own money, it would create a taxable event once you started withdrawing more than what you put into it. But because we're doing it as loans, if you go to the bank and get a loan for 200,000, they don't charge you taxes on it, right? No, because it's a loan. That's the secret code in the IRS code that allows us to take these distributions 100% tax-free, okay? And that's why we do it as a loan and not a withdrawal. But you can still see here, even if the client gets all their money, they get the $486,000. You see the cash accumulation, cash value has grown to over 900,000. That's more than enough to pay everything back, the loan back plus interest. And there's still $16,000 left in death benefit. Even at age, that's enough to bury them at age 95 after they withdrew almost a $500,000. So we can do a couple other real quick things. What I wanted to do, Andreas, is kind of show you, what do you do with that situation where maybe you're not working with a specific face amount, but maybe you're working with a client that has a specific premium amount. Maybe they say, well, I've got, Andreas, maybe you could just throw me a number. Let's say you got a business owner and you tell me how much money do they have to start funding their IUL tax-free retirement account?
400 to 600.
400 to 600? Okay, that we already kind of did. Give me a bigger number.
Oh, the one I wrote yesterday, the 833, the 10,000.
Okay, let's say hypothetically that the 800, it was like 10 grand a year, right?
It was 10,000 a year. Remember that? And
Okay.
was 833 monthly premium.
All right, let's do it as yearly, okay? Let's say you got a client that can do, hold on, hold the door. Okay, here we go. Let's say we got a client hypothetically that can put away 10 grand a year, okay? So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna change this to annual premium. Let's see here, we're not gonna worry about that. That's automatically gonna default. Can we just leave the age the same, hypothetically, just leave it at 45? Is that okay? Or do you wanna change it?
Yeah, sure.
How old was your client that you wrote the other day?
47.
Oh, 47, okay. So let's say she was born in 75 then. 40, perfect, 47. All right, so we're matching it up. Okay. When you're doing this max accumulation and income, you don't even need to change the face amount. Don't even worry about it. Just click here, click on max accumulation. This is when a client is giving you a budget. Okay. I'm going to click on details. I'm going to solve for, instead of premium, I'm going to solve for face. So it's kind of the opposite. So if a client's giving you a budget, if they can say, hey, I can afford 500 a month, then you want to you're solving for face. If they give you, well, I want $500,000 of life insurance, then you're solving for a premium. So it's kind of the opposite of whatever they want, whatever they want you to, how you want you to calculate it, how you're going to solve for is going to be the opposite. So this lady she knows how much she wants to spend, so we're going to do it for face amount. Okay. And let's see, annual premium was 10,000, correct? So we're going to change that to 10 grand a year. And let's see here. Okay, we changed that. We're going to do it for, let's say we do it for, yeah, we'll keep it at the 21 years. We're going to do it as a loan, age 70. All right, we'll keep everything the same. 25 years. Okay, perfect. Let's see how this works out. Okay, annual. Okay. Let me just run a quick calc. I just want to see it before I run an illustration. I want to see what it looks like. It should have changed my, it should have automatically changed my, yeah, so what it did, because they're putting in $10,000, it went ahead and it moved the death benefit to 675,000. Okay, and then we're starting with, okay, perfect. Perfect, okay. Now let's take a look at an illustration, Andreas. Let's see what this bad boy looks like. I think we're starting the income a couple of years early, so that may affect it a little bit. And guys, if you're watching this and I'm like totally blowing your mind, and I'm going way too fast, I apologize. Just get with me and let me help you write an IUL on yourself. Let's start your own IUL tax-free retirement plan. I'll do the illustration for you and you submit it. Write a policy on yourself. Get one going. That will really help you understand how this thing's going to work. All right, I'm just going to move. I'm going to fast forward all the way to the tubular report. Here we go. All right, Andreas, in the case of your client, so we can maximize the 10,000, we had to increase the death benefit from 250,000 to 675,000. So now your client has $675,000 of death benefit. They put in 200,000. I'm sorry, they put in $10,000 a month, $10,000 a year for 21 years. So they put in a total of 210,000. At age 71, they start making tax-free withdrawals of $28,805. Okay, and I think we had that for how many years? 25, I believe it was. So check this out, Andreas. In this illustration, if your client were to keep funding, first of all, you'd have to increase the death benefit, but if they were to max fund it, 10,000 a year, they would be able to withdraw $720,000 of tax-free income. 720,000 divided by 210,000 equals, that's 3.5 times their money back. 100% tax-free. So this is just a very, using this tool, just a very simple way to illustrate, and you can play with it. You can lower the amount of years that they put into it. You can lower the, maybe you don't have to do the income for that long. You can change all that up. Let's say you only want to show income for 20 years as an example. Just go here, go to details and loan monthly. I'm going to do 20 years of income. Let's see what that does. The biggest thing is don't be afraid to get on here and just experiment and just play with it. Now let's see. See if that makes a difference. Okay, just wait for this to populate. Okay, let me enlarge this a little bit. Let me go to 100%. Tubular report, that's all going to be the same. 675 for death benefit. See, by lowering, what happened was by instead of having income for 25 years, if you notice, when I reduced it to 20, it increased the benefit. So it went, I think, where were we at 28,000 a year? It increased it to 31,000 a year. So able to withdraw a little bit more. Let me just see here, age 90. Yeah, it's going to leave them with a little bit more death benefit. I actually like drawing it out a little bit more. 25 in that example worked out a little bit better because they were able, it illustrated that they were actually getting more money back. In this example, they're at 20 years of income, they're getting back $623,000 worth of tax-free income, which is still pretty good. They're able to get a little bit more back quicker, but I'd rather have it maybe for a little bit more of longevity. But like I said, man, you can play around with these numbers. The biggest thing with your clients to let them know is that, like, this is just simply an illustration. This isn't a contract. It doesn't mean you're locked in that you have to do this. If you want to fund the policy, if you want to build up more cash value and you want to fund it for 25 years and then make 25 years worth of withdrawals, you can do that. So, Andreas, were there any other kind of maybe scenarios or examples that you wanted me to cover? Let me make sure I have Andreas still unmuted. Oh, I had him as a presenter. Let's see here, Andreas. Until they enter their audio pin. Oh, here we go, Andreas. All right, now you can unmute, Andreas. You should be able to unmute here. Self-muted. Andreas, it says you're self-muted. All right. Well, I don't know if there's any other examples that he wanted me to show. I don't seem to be able to get him back online. Berger has a question. Let me see if there's any other questions. Andreas has his hand up. Oh, looks like you've logged in a couple. All right, try unmuting now, Andreas.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I'm sorry because I'm on the way to an appointment. That's why I had to switch on the car.
Oh, no worries. Yeah, I kind of temporarily lost you, but and we can always do like a part 2 of this call, but I just didn't know, were there any other kind of scenarios that you wanted me to kind of go over?
No, but what I want to say, what the FNG told me too, that when the client is overfunding the policy for the whole year up front, it's a lot better for the client.
Yes.
Like if they get a lump sum check for the $10,000 up front, they build more cash value on that instead of the monthly premiums.
Yes, you're 100% right. Guys, if you didn't catch that, when you're presenting this, if your client is able to make annual premiums versus monthly premiums, it's going to build cash value quicker because instead of, little premium payments, they put in 10 grand all at one time to fund the policy. That money can work for them quicker than just making small monthly premiums. All right, so we're going to be ending the call. I just wanted to see if I wanted to unmute Berger here real quick. Berger, if you're still on, click your microphone button, and you should be able to ask your question.
Can you hear me?
Hey, buddy, what's going on?
Not much. You know what? I don't know how I got my hand raised or whatever, but I actually don't have a question. Before I had lost audio, so I was, trying to regain it, but it came
Oh,
back.
no worries, man. Well, I'm glad you hopped on the call, man. We haven't talked in a while. Hope things are going well with you.
They really are. They really are. And I did want to get with you because I wanted to hop back in on a limited basis, and I'll explain that to you when we talk.
Sure.
But and I remember when I told you, when because of the job that I took, I'd be busy for a while. So now I'm sort of got things under my belt, and I'd like to continue and make you.
Awesome, buddy. Well, I will. Good to hear from you. I'll definitely reconnect with you offline. But right now, guys, thanks for hopping on. I hope this hasn't been too overwhelming. Hopefully, it's been somewhat educational for you. And please, like I said, start the conversation with the people that you know. IULs are also great for children. So if you've got kids, put an IUL on your kids, put an IUL on your grandchildren. I've got 2 kids. I've got IULs on both. My daughter, I actually have 2 IULs. My son, I have 1 IUL. So they're great products for children as well. So, all right, everybody, if you need help with IULs, give me a call. I'll help you get things figured out. And have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you soon. God bless. Take care.
Joe, thank you so much. I appreciate that.
All right, Andreas, I appreciate you, man. Good luck at your appointment, okay?
Thank you, sir.
All right, brother. We'll talk to you, man. All right, Michael, I don't know if you're there, but we're going to sign off.
I'm here, my friend. Awesome call.
Thanks, buddy. All right, guys. All right, everybody. God bless. Take care.
God bless everybody. Have a great day. Good